Today's lesson we're going to learn how to multiply a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number. There are two different approaches. One is called the place value approach and the other is traditional. We need to know both approaches in preparation for the test. First of all, let's recognize place value because I will be referring to this in the steps. This is the ones column, and of course we've learned that this is the tens column and this is the hundreds column. We always multiply in an upward direction. So ones times ones, 4 times 6 is 24. Let's rewrite this question. 486, ones, tens, hundreds. I put the 4 in the ones column here, and now we're ready to go. We multiply up. 4 times 6 is 24. The next step is ones times tens. Ones times tens. Now, 4 times 8 is 32, but this 8, it really doesn't stand for 8. It's 80, because there's a phantom 0 there. It's 320. 4 times 4 is 16, but we have these extra zeros there. It's really 400 fours. 4 times 400 is 1600. Finally, we add up each column. Our ones, we add our tens, we add our hundreds column, and we add our thousands. And we just bring that, and that is our answer. 1,944. In our next approach, this is called traditional. Some may consider the place value approach easier, others will be thinking, I prefer traditional. This one does involve carrying, which we learned back in our unit in October on addition. 4 times 6 is 24, so we carry that. 24. We carried the 2 from the ones to the tens. The next step is ones times tens. 4 times 8 is 32, and we have to add what we've carried. 33, 34. By circling it, we remind ourselves that we have indeed remembered to add. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 2 is 34. I carry now from the ones to the hundreds. 34. Our final step is ones times hundreds. 4 times 4 is 16, and we're going to add 3, 17, 18, and 19. You can see that the result is the same, just two different ways to go about it. Let's look at one more sample, shall we? 789 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. And right below that, the second level, 6 times 8, 6 times 80. 6 times 8 is 48. But remember, it's 6 80s. We can see our times table hint there. 48, and we have to add that 0. So 480 below that. Final step is ones times hundreds. 6 times 7 is 42, and we add the zeros for 4,200. 4,200. Final step is to add up our columns. 4, and you know that 8 and 5 is 13, so we have to carry, just like we would in addition. 13. Add our hundreds. 6 plus 1 is 7. 4,734. Now let's try that using the traditional approach. 6 times 9 is 54. Notice we're carrying from the ones to the tens. 54. Ones times tens. 6 times 8 is 48, but we're going to add our 5 to that. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. We're carrying from the tens to the hundreds. 53. Final step is ones times hundreds. 6 times 7 is 42, and we're going to add 5 to that. 42 and 5 is 47. And you can see the result is the same. Two different methods. You choose the one that's best for you, but they will both be on the test. Okay, we're going to learn how to multiply a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number, and we're going to follow these steps. Ones times ones. Ones times tens. We'll talk about the placeholder, which we're also going to call the 0. Tens times ones, tens times tens, add. We're going to follow these steps. We're going to start with one that's fairly easy and then gradually get to some harder ones. Remember that we multiply always going up. Ones times ones, we're thinking 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Next step is 1s times 10s. 1s column times 10s column. 2 times 6 is 12. The next step is the easiest one of them all. It's called a placeholder. And we put the placeholder right here because we add a placeholder because we're now multiplying by a unit of 10. Next step is 10s times 1s. This 1, 10s column times 1s column. 10s times 1, 1 times 2 is 2. Next step, 10s times 10s. 10s times 10s, 1 times 6 is 6. The final step is to add them all up. We add our 1s, we add our 10s, we add our 100s. The answer is 744. Let's try one with a 0. Okay? When we have a 0, we can put the 0 there right away. 0 times 4, 0 times 34 is the same result. It's 0. Then we go on to our 10s times 1s. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. And the answer for this one is 680. Now, if I wanted to do the full steps, I could do that as well. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. Put in a placeholder. 10s times 1s, 4 times 2 is 8. 10s times 10s, 2 times 3 is 6. And we add them up, and we can see that we get the same result. But this is a little faster. Now let's look at a harder one. This one's a bit harder, but it's going to follow the same steps. It'll be more difficult because you can see that we're going to have to carry. We multiply in this direction. 1s times 1s, 8 times 4 is 32. 32. Important that we carry first. 1s times 10s. 8 times 6 is 48, and we have to add what we carry. 49, 50, 51. Write that down there. Next step is the placeholder. Next step, 10s times 1s. 7 times 4 is 28. I like to call this the way up there, way down there. 7 times 4 is 28. Way up there, 28. This is a confusing step, so let's see it one more time. 10s times 1s, 7 times 4 is 28. We carry the 2 from the 1s to the 10s. 28. Our next step is 10s times 10s. 7 times 6 is 42, and we're going to circle it after we add. 43, 44. And we place 44 down here, and our final step is to add them up. We add the 1s, the 10s, the 100s, and the 1000s. Let's try one more. 1s times 1s, 9 times 7 is 63. 1s times 10s, 9 times 6 is 54. And 54 plus 6, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. It's good to count by ones just to be accurate. Everyone's favorite step is the placeholder. 10s times 1s, 8 times 7 is 56. We're going to carry that 56. The 5 is going up, the 6 is going down. 8 times 7, 56. Way up there, way down there. 10s times 10s. 8 times 6 is 48. We're going to add the 5. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Final step is to add them up. 3, 6, 900s, and 5 in the thousands.